You gonna let him listen to polka, or what are you doing?
Is that
No.
polka? Is that your type of music?
Oh, that's his
yeah.
Pandora set to...
He got a new iPhone about
To polka?
I don't know, 3 months ago, and so it's in his shirt pocket.
That was one of the first things he learned how to do on there was play his polka
don't know.
music. So
And if they tell me something and I don't do it for 3 times in succession, I forget.
Do you guys like polka too?
not really.
Not so much.
My name is Gary, and this is my oldest son, Michael, and my younger son, Mark. And we farm a couple thousand acres under the Krcil Farm Partnership. They will be the 4th generation to work on this farm site.
We have 3 Lester buildings that we have on the property. The first one was built in 1977. It's a 50 by 120 with 2 24-foot doors. So we use that for longer term equipment storage.
The first year that it was so big, I could rent out space to the co-op for a floater, and a friend of mine had a tiling machine, and I thought, boy, I maybe built too big, but all of a sudden you start packing from one end to the other end, and you had to take everything out to get the piece you wanted for today's work.
You generally do end up outgrowing it, which we have many times actually with the other buildings as well. So
This is our 40 by 60 feed shed. We was built to store our toys, so to speak. That lasted for a few years, and then all of a sudden our seed, instead of coming in bags, was coming in shuttles, and it just worked out perfect that we can store it here and have a one-stop place for all our spring needs. When my youngest son was 2.5, 3 years old at the oldest, I was up on the roof. I had the ladder on the west side and I was on the east side. And I was doing my thing, and all of a sudden I heard, "Daddy, Daddy." Here he had crawled up the ladder. I almost said, "You little brat." But I kept my cool, and I said, "Oh, wait." And then I hollered at my wife, who was in the house at the time. I said, "Bring the camera."
I think it was, fall of 13, we got a little late or something, and I was trying to clean some equipment up outside.
it was freezing to the chisel plow as he's washing it because it was, 15 degrees outside or something?
So, a lot of our bigger stuff didn't fit in the old shop, so, washing it in there wasn't an option anymore. I think I looked at Dad and said, I think it's time we maybe call somebody and see if we can help us with our problem here. So I ended up calling Ron at Lester's, and he came out and started the conversation.
He called and said, "Well, we're interested in building a farm shop." So we met and had some discussion.
In this planning process, we had 2 companies in mind. We said, we're looking, what do you have?
Well, I made arrangements to see 7 different building projects in one day.
And we just felt so much more comfortable with Lester's. The feeling you were important, we felt Lester was very dominant in that.
This farm, we're over 100 years old, and in our lifetimes will be the building we're going to be using, but maybe even for our kids. So yeah, there was a lot of stress of picking out, the right things or the right size, and by walking through them you can kind of see some good ideas, what works really well, or get some opinions even from the customers that had built with Lester's.
With Lester's having buildings all over the countryside, you can basically take them and zero in on what they're looking for, and when they can operate that door, or they can move that service door, or open that window, or I know it answered a lot of their questions.
All these little things, you bring them into your mind and you put them together, and then Ron puts it on a drawing, that helps you make up your mind. Is it worth it or isn't it,
This is kind of our part storage back here. This is actually one of the first change orders after we kind of did everything, and we got to thinking, if we get a forklift or something, how are we going to get that stuff through? We didn't have a door, you'd had to drive all the way outside. So we talked to Ron, and we said, maybe we should put a small roll-up garage door in here. So put that in, and very, very happy we did.
Basically, we had a need, and then we tried to get a solution built into the building, and that was the good thing about Lester's, be flexible enough to accommodate all those needs into one facility.
I used to buy dairy cattle probably 9 out of 10 times when I was driving up the driveway, I could tell you I'm going to buy cattle here or I'm not, just by eye appeal. And I guess with that thought in mind, I mean, you don't have to have extra fancy stuff, but just keep your junk hidden or disposed of and try to keep your place, lawns cut and trimmed and, put your best foot forward.
Say, you wouldn't by any chance know where the photo is of Mark standing on top of the shop?
I've seen it not that
3
long
years
ago.
old?
It's in one of my photo books.
It'll be something that, I hope the boys remember. We did this together. It'll be a legacy from my wife and I. Remembrance, I feel.
And I feel like, so the days in the summer when my kids are out of school and we bring them out here, they really do like to go down to the shop, and you don't have to be spread apart in different places. You can all be in one location getting your work done.
And it's just a nice way to raise a family. I mean, we didn't have to do exotic vacations all the time, but we did have plenty of quality work time.
Or child labor,
Or child labor, whatever you want to refer to it as.